It's about a young lady named Hannah Spears, and she's a preacher's daughter. And Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who plays Hamilton, her father, she absolutely adores him. And we see in the beginning of the movie that she's happy, and she sings a song, you know, Happy Day.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked. When Jesus walked.
Her dad, he ends up dying in a car accident. It destroys her. It destroys her physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and she begins to rebel. She drinks a lot of alcohol, which I don't know how she got away with that, because my mother would whoop me if she ever smelled anything close to wine on my breath at 17. Like, that's ridiculous.
And God will lead you back to the way, the light, the truth. Just leave it to God. And it will truly be a happy day.
It's a small congregation, pastor who loves the Word of God and loves being inspired and inspiring. I tend to really gravitate to characters who have, you know, a base human emotion of, you know, things wanting to be right, you know, wanting to make a difference.
She went through my stuff, found the expansion plans.
She's a train wreck. She's gonna wrap herself around a tree soon enough. Problem solved.
Now, that may be, but we can't take the chance that she might know something.
You take care of business. I'll take care of Hannah.
Thank you, son.
Marcus, pretty much, he'll do just about anything his father asks him to do. He was raised in the church, and pretty much with him, it's all about the power. It's not necessarily about the proper meaning of what is behind the church, or necessarily forwarding the church for the better, as much as forwarding the church in the sense of power.
Dad hasn't been dead a month yet, and you all are just ready to cash in on everything he built.
Clay and I have been trying to get the church back on track since your father died.
Whatever.
And then last night, embarrassing the church, embarrassing your father, what would he think?
I was standing up for Dad.
As Tamala Jones, I'm highly disappointed in Martha. I think that she is absolutely selfish, self-centered, weak, and totally in her own world. She's not even connected to her daughter, Hannah. Martha never really cared. She only cared about being the preacher's wife and sitting in the balcony and looking below amongst all the congregation and feeling like the queen. And I feel that she's let her daughter down. You know, Martha is more concerned with the material aspects of life more than she is love, which is what her husband was all about. He felt like it was better to have a church large in spirit, is one of my lines, than in size. And I personally, as myself, Tamala, I agree with that.
Just so much change around here. Everything's different. Telling you, Clay, he does not do things the way your daddy did. Well, I'm just so happy that I still have the youth choir to run.
Lucille is the executive assistant to Pastor Hamilton, who dies early in the movie, played by Malcolm-Jamal Warner. While she is efficient in the office and she has her clerical role to play, she's also the leader of the choir. So she's got a spiritual responsibility to what's going on and what's happening. So I love the fact that her purpose is clear, yet her journey is very layered and very complex of what she can support and what she can't support, and the demeanor by which she has to deliver that.
That's why this is the perfect time to announce not a new, but an expanded vision of Shake Your Point. Clay wants to expand and it wants to have the church grow into offshoots. So he thinks that it should be much bigger than it actually is. The thing that I really like about Clay is that he is a freight train and he is going to get whatever he wants to get. I think in his mind, he thinks ultimately it's the best for everyone involved, and more specifically, it's the best for him.
So, Want me to come in?
No, thanks. I just need to have a good cry. I'll be fine.
Okay. If you say so. My character in this story lost herself, and it's this kind of, you'll never expect these two to get together, but it's crazy because you never know, things in life bring certain people together, and that's how I see it. It kind of reminds me of Romeo and Juliet, Oliver and Hannah. So maybe the new Romeo and Juliet, that's all I'm saying.
Overall, though, you know, Hannah is a very strong young lady, and at the end she learns that it's gonna be okay. And she closes it out with an amazing song.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
When I found out that I could sing, because we were just, I was listening to the choir in rehearsal before we even started to film. And then I was just like, well, you know, I can just sing Amazing Grace on my guitar because I sing and play the guitar. You know that, right? And they're like, you do?
I mean, Shanika Knowles is an incredibly talented young actress who I think is going to do big things, not only in acting, but she's an incredible singer-songwriter, which we decided to make a big part of the film once we discovered that she had this talent.
I'm sorry for the things I did and the things I said. I'm sorry for who I'm not and who I am. I thought that this was real, and I thought that you would stay. I tried so hard that I pushed you away.
So it's kind of cool because you see both genres. You see like the soulful, gospel, you know, feel-good music that you're used to and familiar with, and then you also see a different side, an alternative side, you know, a folky side, whatever you want to call it, but it's a side that most people haven't seen from a woman of color, and I think that's beautiful.
They told me that Shaker Point was going to be Hamlet set in an African-American church, and I thought that was just a really unique approach. I was really interested in seeing what they were going to do with that.
You know, looking at Hamlet again, I was like, wow, I can find a way to bring this to a modern audience, and the whole thing was, what is a kingdom now? What are those things that we can find that would fit all these characters? And we're thinking about churches and maybe mega churches and or churches that are, you know, growing into a mega church, and we're thinking that's kind of a kingdom now.
The most exciting thing for me going into the project was that, of course, the story of this character, Hannah, was based on Shakespeare's tragedy Hamlet. And that really gave me a way to get my creative hook, so to speak, into the material.
It's great when you can work with a director who is very clear on, you know, what they want, you know, and Darren, I think from the onset, is very, very clear on what his vision is and the story he's telling.
He gets what an actor needs to be responsible for. And it's very easy to take direction and be able to communicate clearly and effectively and keep it moving with someone who's got that kind of connection and that commitment.
But before we even met in person, we talked 2 or 3 times on the phone, and we talked about the script and the character, and I am enjoying my time with him and would happily do it again.
With this project, we just kept on running into actors, DP, director, who are elevating what's on the page, and that's the happiest producer you could ever be.